y'all. Welcome to week 12 of DNA, where me and my son will be bringing you the highlights from around the league. Well, as you can see, our set looks a little different today as we are recording live from Detroit as we're here for vacation. So as you can see, my son is sitting here representing Detroit.
Proudly.
It's
My
all
team
Detroit
is
right
sucking
here.
right now.
So we're coming today bringing you the rundown for week 12 from Detroit. So I'm going to let my boys start off because once again, it wasn't a good week for y'all, but
I mean,
it
was a great week. We didn't play. We had
didn't
a
play.
bye
That's
week.
right.
That is the greatest thing I could have asked for. It came right in time for the holidays. As you guys know, the Falcons, have not been having a good past 2 weeks. We lost to the Aints in New Orleans in a very tough way. And I'm thinking, we're going to bounce back against Denver the next week. No, we lost 38-10 to Denver. That was rough. And so the week after that, we had a bye, and I was really thankful for that. I got to take this time to be in Detroit and be with family and just support the Lions and forget that my team in Atlanta sucks. So I'm just happy to be rocking that blue. It feels good, every year, So yeah, I'm going to worry about them dirty birds later. But, hey.
it was what it was.
It was what it was.
Well, we played the Indianapolis Colts. Well, we hosted the Colts as they came to town, and it wasn't.
Weird game.
The score, it was really weird. Now, the score looked like we blew them out, but that wasn't the case.
Wasn't the case at
It
all.
was really closer than what it was. We won 24-6, but it was a challenge. Goff was Goff. I mean, he went. He was still good. He was 26 for 36. I think we had a total of like 695 yards. He had a total, I think, of 269 yards. We did get some players that was hurt. St. Brown went out with an injury. Demo went out with an injury. I mean, Khalif went out with an injury. We hoping that they're going to be back on Thursday so we can, beat them Bears
and the Thanksgiving curse.
And get rid of the Thanksgiving
I don't know
curse.
what that's
But
all about.
once again, though, we did beat them 24-6. We are now 10-1, still sitting on top of the NFC, number one in the NFL. Because, hey, when you go out of points, we are above the Chiefs. So, once again, thank you, Lions, for continuing to do what you do as we grind all the way to Nola. Because that's what we do. Like I said, it wasn't a pretty game. But at the end, we did win.
Yep.
So,
That's all that matters,
That's all that matters at the end of the day.
10-1.
So let's get to the rundown. Now, we had the doggone the Steelers and the Browns. I mean, it was a snowball.
The crazy game.
It's a crazy game.
It started off, with normal weather, it was cleared, and I think by the second or third quarter, it was just full of snow. Like, it was hard to watch on TV. Like, it was just packed, all white.
Man, and the Browns actually beat the boys in the black and gold. They beat them 24-19.
Yep. The Browns, did something that, not many people were expecting. George Pickens, my guy from the University of Georgia, he's on the Steelers, and he has some excuses at the end of the game saying that, I guess he was saying it was too cold or something, to win the game. I wasn't too happy to hear that because I like George. And he had an altercation at the end of the game where he was fighting with some fans or something, like on the Hail Mary play, like he was doing something in the stands or like nearly in the stands fighting with somebody instead of, even trying to catch the ball. So that was just crazy to see. But, it was just a lot going on. But Russell Wilson went 21 for 28. He had 270 yards and one touchdown. Jameis Winston went 18 for 27 with 219 yards, one interception, and one rushing touchdown. It was just a good game by the Browns. Nick Chubb had 20 carries for 59 yards and also 2 touchdowns. The ground game was just really impressive from Cleveland. They didn't have one passing touchdown at all. It was all every point they got was on the ground or by the kicker. And Myles Garrett was huge on defense for them as well with 3 sacks. Helping them get the win. And the Browns had played like this all season. They'll be in a different position. So I feel like this team has a lot of talent.
Yeah, but they were 3-8 or.
Yeah, they're 3-8. They're 3-8 right now. But yeah, it was just a crazy game. When the weather's like that, it's always interesting. You never know which way it's gonna go. Who knows if it was like a normal weather game, the Steelers probably would have won. Who knows? But both of them teams are used to playing outside and used to playing in cold weather. So I can't use that as an excuse too much.
Well, and I gotta do I actually gotta rewind and do like a backtrack because we went to Indianapolis. I said that we hosted the Colts. The Colts actually hosted us, and we didn't have to good with the weather.
Yeah.
They're a dome team,
Yeah.
so that kind of worked in our favor. But now them doggone Texans, I don't know. Texans, they started hot, but they really kind of cooled off as they lost to the Titans 32-27.
Yeah, the same Titans who got curb stomped by the Lions a couple weeks ago. Sat up here and won the game. They went. Not only did they win the game, but they went to Houston. Like they won on the road, which is it wasn't expected. The Titans are a rebuilding team, one of the worst teams in the league, and for them to go to Houston, beat a really good Houston team. Who has been struggling? They're 7-5, but Houston is much better than their record says. They have a lot of talent on the team, with C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and guys like that. We just make it real tough on the offense. It's one of the best offenses in the league. I feel like, for the Titans to do this. I don't know if the Titans fans are happy. Are y'all ruining the tank, or is it like y'all just happy y'all even got a win y'all weren't expecting? But I mean, it was just a crazy game. I can't even believe the Titans were able to put up 32 points. That was definitely one of the best performances all season. Will Levis, he went 18 for 24, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. While C.J. Stroud for the Texans went 20 for 33, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. It just wasn't a good game for C.J. Stroud all season. He's been having these impressive games, and next week he'll have a game where he's like hit or miss. It's like it's just been very up and down for the Texans all season. They're 7-5 right now. But Nico Collins, even though the Texans lost, they still had a few good positives to take away from them. Nico Collins had 5 receptions, 92 yards, and he had a good touchdown as well. But yeah, the Titans just got a shocking divisional win on the road. That nobody saw coming. I feel bad for all the people at the casinos who were probably betting on the Texans to win this game. Yeah, y'all lost y'all money quickly.
Now, what about them Bears? Now, this was where I was really wanting the Bears to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a conference game, but I was really pulling for the Bears to beat the Vikings. They did. They almost did. They came from behind, but the Vikings was able to squeak it out on the field goal as they beat the Bears 30-27.
Literally, this was just a crazy game to watch. It went overtime. The Bears, were, playing a good game. They even forcing overtime by getting a onside recovery for the first time that's happened this season. As I was watching it, I was thinking, Chicago's about to pull off a little miracle, and get a much needed win. They were 4-6 and they needed a win bad just to inch closer to 500. But once again, they let this slip away. Their special teams, once again, as you guys know, they had a very terrible loss, a couple weeks ago when their kicker missed a field goal to win the game. And, this time around, it was their punt returner's fault. He called a fair catch, but, the ball hit his leg and it became a live ball. And, the Vikings recovered it in overtime. And that was basically it for them. But, up until then, before that happened, the Bears were just playing a good game. Caleb Williams went 32 for 47. He had 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also did some damage on the ground. And he had 6 carries for 33 yards. And DeAndre Swift, he had 13 carries for 30 yards. DJ Moore had 7 receptions for 106 yards, averaging 15 yards a carry, and he had a touchdown to his resume that day as well. Sam Darnold for the Vikings, he went 22 for 34, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones had 22 carries for 106 yards, and averaging 4 yards a carry. He had 1 touchdown as well, and Jordan Addison had a touchdown. It was just a really big battle between these 2 division teams. Both of these teams definitely want to win, but definitely the Vikings are trying to catch up to the Lions.
The Bears.
Yeah, they were the ones starting off high in the NFC North. Making a lot of noise until the Vikings got their first loss. Ever since then, Detroit's been the one just keeping their foot on the gas. But the Vikings are not slowing down too much. They're 9-2, and they're right behind Detroit, but Detroit is just a little hotter. And but this is the Bears' 5th straight loss. Definitely something they didn't need to happen, and it's looking like another season that Chicago is just missing the playoffs. Unfortunately, they started off pretty decent.
I know.
They looked hopeful at the beginning of the year.
But they still, if you compare them to other teams in other leagues and other, divisions, they still not the worst.
Yeah, they're not.
So that's the crazy part about it. They still in the thick of it.
There's really more to figure out how to close games. Figure out how to close games.
Well, how about them Cowboys? Who would have
unfortunately, it's not another week where the Cowboys lost. They broke their I believe it was 3-game.
Was it 3? I thought it was more than 3, but I don't know. 5.
Oh yeah, 5. They ended their 5-game winning streak. 5-game winning. Oh yeah, losing streak. Let me clarify that. My bad, you guys. It's not 2023 or 2022. The Cowboys actually suck in the regular season now. We're used to them making the playoffs, then starting to suck, but they're actually struggling in the regular season. And Cooper Rush went 24 for 32, 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. While Rico Dowdle had 19 carries for 86 yards, and he averaged 4 yards a carry. Jane Daniels on the other side went 25 for 38, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Let's talk about the Commanders. They started off really hot, but now they're sitting here at 7-5. Not too long ago, they only had 1 or 2 losses on their record. And now it's like they are. That's definitely not a team you want to lose to, considering the season they've had with Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott. Just a lot going on, and all the countless injuries they had. It's just not a good season for the Cowboys. So for that to be a team that you lose to, it definitely hurts.
And they got them 34 to 26. I mean, it was kind of crazy because I was thinking if the Cowboys was gonna win, I thought it was gonna get a win against one of the 2-6, 2-8 teams or whatever. But they actually beat a good team. So they was over there on the sidelines. It was funny because they were smiling like they was like back in it. It was like, come on, y'all. I mean, you still suck.
Y'all are 4-7.
But it is what it is. But they did beat the Commanders 34 to 26. Now the Dolphins, I'm telling you, Tua, I guess he's on to something. You said he wants to come back to play. He's been playing.
I think he should still wear the pad.
I think he should still wear the padded helmet because Tua, we don't want you to get knocked around because I think the next hit to your head is a wrap. So, but the Dolphins, hey, they doing what they doing is they beat the Patriots 34 to 15.
Yeah, the Patriots suffer another loss, but once again, I feel like Drake May, he just continues to get into his groove. He threw a pick in this game, but other than that, he went 22 for 37, 222 yards, and 1 touchdown. Besides Jane Daniels and Caleb Williams, but I feel like Drake May is just one of those guys to look out for in the future. Part of the rookie class, and I can't forget Bo Nix. He's been playing out of his mind. He might actually be rookie of the year over Jane Daniels now because Bo Nix has gotten off to a hot start. But back to the Dolphins. I mean, this is just a good game. Tua 29 for 40, 317 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was definitely on the tear against this young Patriots defense. But about the Patriots defense, they have a positive to take away. Their cornerback Christian Gonzalez, he got his first career scooping score. So that was also his first touchdown. And but he just won enough to win the game, and Miami goes on a 3-game win streak.
Wow. Thought they was gonna lose, but somehow they just break my heart as they continue to win. And I didn't expect them to win against the Panthers, but when I saw that it was close, I was like, okay, it may happen. But of course it didn't, as the Chiefs slid past the Panthers. 30 to 27.
Literally slid past them. Patrick Mahomes with 27 for 37. He had 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was a good game from Patrick Mahomes. I can't lie. He usually throws a pick. It seems like he didn't throw one this time around, but this is just a game I was hoping the Chiefs lost. Every team that the Chiefs played, I just hope that team beats them, and that wasn't the case. I wanted the Panthers to win. They might be in our division in the NFC South, but they're the worst team in the NFC South. So they can win and win bother the Falcons in any way, but they just weren't able to get the dub. And once again, the Chiefs are back in the win column. Kareem Hunt had 16 carries for 68 yards. But Bryce Young, quarterback, second-year quarterback in Charlotte, a lot of people were ready to just write him off, and they were blaming all the failures of the Panthers on him and stuff. But he's getting into his groove. It's just good to see, in Carolina that he didn't continue. He's not continuing to struggle. He's actually showing lights of the Bryce Young that he was at Alabama. So it's definitely good for Panthers fans to see their franchise quarterback start to click into things. And David Moore, he had 6 receptions, 81 yards, and he averaged 13. yards of carry and 1 touchdown. But the Panthers almost had it until Patrick Mahomes had a scramble that brought them to the other side of the 50 and put them into field goal range to win the game. And their kicker, Spencer Strader, he got a game-winning kick, to win 30-27. But Harrison Butker, their kicker, was, hurt. Which is the only reason they got Spencer Strader. But they gonna have to, they need to find a third kicker now because Spencer actually suffered an injury in the game. So, they're definitely losing some kicker talent because Butker was one of the best kickers in the league. So for them to be on the third kicker this season might be a blow. Telling who's up next for the Chiefs before the season.
Wow. So, them doggone Buccaneers, y'all better watch out, Falcons. The Buccaneers is trying to keep pace, as they beat them boys that thought they was a big G, now they feel a little G, as they ran over the Giants, 30-7.
I'm trying to stay calm. The Bucs are winning games, but I just need the Falcons to win this next game. If they don't, I might lose it. But I'm used to it. Like I said, I'm used to the disappointment the Falcons bring. The only thing that makes it different this season is the fact we put so much effort and money into the team to get back to the playoffs, and we're showing signs again of being that team that just falls off and loses that momentum midway through the season. I'm not trying to experience another season like that. I was cool with it the past 6 seasons because we weren't, trying. We weren't doing things, to be better as an organization. But now that these guys have actually put effort, in the front office and stuff, from the front office to the players, I have really high hopes. Me and a lot of Falcons fans have high hopes for this season. But I just need y'all to get back in the win column because it's been an ugly 2 weeks. Like I said, we had a bye week and somehow we lost the bye week. I don't even know how that happened. But yeah, it's just been bad. Baker Mayfield went 24 for 30. He had 294 yards. And Tommy DeVito, quarterback for the Giants. I know y'all remember him last year as being the guy who, replaced Daniel Jones for a little bit. Daniel Jones, as you guys know, Daniel Jones, a couple of days before the game, he actually got released from the Giants, so he's no longer, going to be a part of them for the rest of the season. And we'll see what his next team will be. But I think that's a good thing for both sides. I believe Daniel Jones needs a fresh start on another team elsewhere, and it's good for the Giants as well because that was definitely not, the quarterback for them. I don't know who's to really blame in that situation, but Daniel Jones was the one to say, hey, I just want to be off the team. So I'm happy for him that he ain't got to be in an environment like that. A lot of Giants fans told me, that the franchise don't really do much for their players. Odell left them, Saquon left them, now Daniel Jones is out. So I don't know what it is. But after the game, the wide receiver Malik Neighbors, he had 6 receptions and 64 yards, but he expressed frustration after the game. Just tired of the season the Giants have had. They dropped down to 2-9, and even though he's a rookie, he just wants to win and get the Giants back into the playoffs where he feels they should be. But it's just an ugly time to be a Giants fan. They're really bad.
Wow. Well, hey, it looked like them, Denver Broncos found them legs. As they guys continue to roll, they had an easy week, but they have beat some doggone good teams, and they still beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. So, Denver Broncos, hats off to you as they rolled over the Raiders 29-19.
Yeah, the Broncos won again. The team that destroyed us last week. I'm not shocked about this. The Raiders are another team that's 2-9 and been struggling this season. I expected this to be a win for the Broncos, and it's a good win for the Broncos to have their 7-5, and they're keeping their playoff hopes alive as well. And the Broncos were actually a team that started off slow this season. But they started to catch a groove about 4 weeks ago, and ever since then they've been looking like one of the strongest teams. Definitely in their division, definitely in the league. I feel like Bo Nix is definitely a rookie to look out for. He's going to be dangerous. I think they would find their franchise quarterback in Denver.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No question about it. He went 25 for 42, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Gardner Minshew for the Raiders, he went 25 for 42 as well, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, and he threw a pick. But Cortland Sutton had 8 receptions, 97 yards and 2 touchdowns, and just another complete game for Denver. Bo Nix set a rookie touchdown record, which is just something else that's going to help him get closer, to getting that rookie of the year. James Daniels, man, you falling off, man. I don't know what it is, but Bo Nix is taking that crown.
Oh, yeah,
so
he
far,
is. Yeah.
looking like you're in trouble, baby.
Okay, well, I mean, they still rolling. They doing what they supposed to do. They not really surprising nobody now. Because now we expect them to win. And Seattle is showing that, hey, they need to be there. They deserve to be in the playoffs as they ran over Arizona 16-6.
Yeah, 16-6. It was a little defensive battle. Not a super high scoring game, but Seattle did what they had to do. They were sitting at 5-5, and the last thing they needed was to drop below 500, so they had to win this game to make sure they went above. Kyler Murray, he went 24 for 37, 285 yards, and he had 1 interception. Trey McBride had 12 receptions and 133 yards. Geno Smith, for the Seahawks, went 22 for 31, 254 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And but Seattle got just a much needed win to stay above. But they have also been a team that I feel has not really played to their full potential. They are 6-5 above 500, but I feel like Seattle should be up there. A team's just a little bit better.
They started slow,
a little bit better than 6-5. They started slow, but they played good football to start off the season. Then they just got off until I don't know. It might have been that Detroit game. That Detroit game did a little something to them, man.
They had that little kind of little flu, but it's okay. Them doggone Packers. They played the 49ers. And I knew when I was hoping that the 49ers was gonna beat the Packers, but when I saw that Brock Purdy was out, I knew that the Packers was gonna win, but I didn't think they was gonna win that bad. Yeah. They rolled over the 49ers 38-10.
Look, Purdy's backup quarterback Brandon Allen did what he could do. He went 17 for 29, 199 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 pick, but it just wasn't enough to beat Green Bay. They were just way too dominant on both sides of the ball. And Christian McCaffrey, somebody who 49ers fans expected to be that spark on the offense to help them get back into the win column consistently. He only had 11 carries for 31 yards. Just not another good game from him. And George Kittle, the tight end, with 6 receptions for 82 yards and 1 touchdown. But Jordan Love, on the other side of things, went 13 for 23, 163 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. While Josh Jacobs had 26 carries for 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just a very dominant game for Green Bay. And Jordan Love, I know he's happy about this, but he snapped the NFL's longest interception streak of 2024. So that was I know he's real happy about that. I know a lot of Packers fans are happy about that. Hey. That's their guy. Jordan Love is no slouch. So I know that he'll get back into his consistent groove like he does usually. And the Packers are gonna be there. They're gonna be there in the postseason. We already know. But the 49ers have just really been struggling. They're below 500 now at 5-6, and definitely not one of them teams you expect to be a bottom feeder in the league this season. But that's just what it is. But the injuries have really hurt them.
Right. Well, I know the song is Fly Robin Fly, but right now it's been like Eagles. Fly Eagles Fly, as they've been doing it. And it's a look. Everybody keeps saying, the Lions and the Eagles. The Lions better watch out for the Eagles. We not worried, but they are playing good football. They beat our Rams. In Detroit we got a little soft spot for the Rams because it's Stafford, but they got beat by the Eagles 37-20.
Yeah, it's tough to see Staff lose that bad, but it wasn't just him out there. He did what he could do with 24 for 36, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 16 carries with 72 yards and a touchdown as well, and Nakua had 9 receptions and 117 yards. But the Rams just didn't come close at all to that powerful Eagles offense, and it's really because of one guy. Saquon just had a monster game, 26 carries for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's making a real case to be MVP. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
He's really having a monster.
I know Giants is sick, but they beat the
Definitely sick.
This is
definitely the Saquon that we were afraid of. That other teams were just afraid of seeing. When Philly got him in the offseason, but this is what we expected. He's just a freak of nature.
Well, a different teammate, but now, them doggone Ravens. As everybody say, they would like to see the Ravens and the Lions in the Super Bowl. That the Super Bowl will be black and black. It was Baltimore and Detroit in NOLA. But the Ravens, hey, they doing what they do, to make it happen, as they beat up on the Chargers 30-20. The Ravens.
yet again with another W. And you know, I just spoke on Saquon about him being MVP. You know, Lamar Jackson is somebody else who I feel could be MVP this season as well.
Definitely.
But if he gets that, that will be his third MVP of his career. He went 16 for 22, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Derrick Henry, he had 24 carries for 140 yards. They were using Derrick Henry a lot this game, just like they do every week. But yeah, the Ravens they do not shy away from that run game. They are gonna continue to run Derrick Henry pretty much almost every play and just tire those defenses out because that's just a tough guy to bring down. He's like Saquon basically. But you know, Zay Flowers had 5 receptions, you know, 62 yards. But Justin Herbert for the Chargers, you know, Chargers have been playing good football as well. They've been playing pretty well, but they just wasn't enough to beat Baltimore. But Justin Herbert, he went 21 for 36, 218 yards. J.K. Dobbins had 6 carries, 40 yards. And Ladd McConkey, my boy from UGA, you know, I'm just a fan of any UGA player in the league. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm a huge fan of them all. So my boy, you know, 6 receptions for 83 yards. And I told people, you know, when they got Ladd in the draft, that it's gonna be a problem. He might be a little short little dude, but he's one of the biggest dudes on the field. When he catches that ball, it's like he's just super fast. And I know Chargers fans are enjoying him. I had my friends I got some Chargers friends who were asking me like, yo, is he good? Like, is he gonna make a difference for us? And I was telling them, just watch out. He's gonna be nice for y'all. Can't sleep on the Chargers though. You know, that's just a really good team that's also going to be there in the postseason as well. I have no doubt about that. But this was definitely a battle. As you know, the Ravens were only able to win by a touchdown, so it wasn't easy. But the Ravens got the W.
All right.
You know,
Well,
you already know what time it is. I already got my guy.
Well, you got your
I
guy,
already know what
but
to
now
say.
it comes to our favorite part of our show, and it's the You Did That of the week.
Yup.
So the You Did That for week 12 goes to none other than
Saquon Barkley.
he killed the game. I mean, what can we say?
It's got to be Saquon. You know, to have 26 carries and run for 255 yards and adding 2 touchdowns to that, it just doesn't go unheard. I mean, the guy's been, you know, just a freak. He was a freak in New York, but I mean, he's doing his thing in this high-powered offense. Eagles are definitely scarier, and I still thank God to this day that my Falcons somehow beat them on Monday night. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. But this is, every team has been feeling around.
He is the man. But Saquon, you are our You Did That for week 12. Well, now that is the end of our episode of week 12. So we hope that you would join us next week on week 13. Hopefully I'm coming with y'all with good news as the Thanksgiving curse is over.
Yep.
And I'm letting y'all know that we beat the Bears, hoping the Falcons come back from their bye week and have a win. Not really, but we're going to hope they do what they got to do.
Oh,
But,
my boys like that.
you know, he represented the Lions today, so I'm going to say that I'm going to pull for the Falcons. But join us next week on DNA as we come to you with our rundown for week 13.